Good morning to all. My name is Erin, and I am absolutely delighted to be here on behalf of the Energy Club in Shirlington, Virginia, in Arlington, Virginia, in the village of Shirlington. So if you haven't yet checked out the full complement of classes that we have going, please do so, because it's not just yoga, the meditation in the evening, but in between, some very good heart pumping, cardio inspired body strengthening classes. So we'd love for you to join us all day, every day, for all the things that we have going on. So thank you to the Energy Club for sponsoring this class. Today is Monday, and so for those of you who've practiced with me before, you know that I'm a mindfulness coach in addition to being a yoga instructor. And mindfulness is a very strong passion and practice for me personally, because I know how well it grounds me and brings a greater sense of appreciation for my life as I live it. And it's really transformed me over the past few years. We're going to do a little bit of mindfulness. For those of you who've studied yoga, you know, or the eightfold path of yoga, the yogic lifestyle. You know that the asana practice, the movement, the shapes that we make in our body is really just a way to prepare us for sustained periods of sitting and meditating. And so before we act our grounding today, I'm going to invite you to move, just as the ancients would inspire us to do so. So any way you want to move, take about 12 breaths. Maybe you're on your hands and knees. Maybe you're sitting and you're working the 7 directions of the spine. Just take about 12 breaths to move your body any way you're inspired to do so before we begin to find our grounding and our rooting in a seated position. So try not to think too much about what you're doing. You don't need to plan for it. Just let the body sway. Let the joints wake up and the muscles become enlivened with some breath and circulation. Take about 5 more big, deep breaths, just waking up the body, however your body wants to be tended to right now. 3 more big breaths. Take 1 more big breath. A few more if you need to even out what you're doing. And then come on back down to a seated position. And once you arrive in your Sukhasana, inviting some ease into the body, maybe if you have something close by to sit upon, a blanket or I'm pointing at it and the word's not coming to me, a block, you're welcome to sit your hips upon it. And start to find yourself settling into comfort. Whatever that means to you and your body, find a shape that is sustainable for a few moments as we arrive. And we're going to begin with a breath practice. And this breath practice is not like the other breath practices that I've guided you in. This breath practice is called Shamatha. And Shamatha means abiding presence, or breathing exactly as the breath is. And so Shamatha breath really just invites you to awaken your awareness to how the breath already arrives and leaves the body without doing anything to change it. It brings your awareness to the here and the now, unobstructed by doing. So root down through your sit bones. Lift up into the spine. Soften the face. Soften the shoulders. Find some ease in the body. And allow your attention to float in and out with the natural cadence of breath. You are doing nothing to change it. You are resting in abiding presence for the breath exactly as it is. But you're noticing with an open mind and a compassionate heart the qualities of the breath, not in a judgmental way, simply in a way to be present with the breath. Be aware of any distracting thoughts, any tendencies to travel off the mat into the world if you hear noises around you. And then bring attention back into the flow of breath. It is your life force energy sustaining you now. It is happening now. It helps you arrive into this moment. Notice where you feel the breath within the body. If you're finding this practice to be challenging, have some patience with yourself. Remember that it is a practice. If you're not used to being still or settling the mind on a singular focus, then this is just day one. And each day you arrive back at this practice, it becomes a little more accessible. And as you continue to enjoy breathing, I'm going to read to you a passage from one of the greats, Jon Kabat-Zinn, in my favorite book that he's written, Wherever You Go, There You Are. Fundamentally, mindfulness is a simple concept. Its power lies in its presence and its applications. Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. This kind of attention nurtures greater awareness, clarity, and acceptance of present moment reality. It wakes us up to the fact that our lives unfold only in moments. If we are not fully present for many of those moments, we may not only miss what is most valuable in our lives, but also fail to realize the richness and the depth of our possibilities for growth and transformation. Mindfulness provides a simple but powerful route for getting ourselves unstuck, back into touch with our own wisdom and vitality. It is a way to take charge of the direction and quality of our own lives, including our relationships within the family, our relationship to work and to the larger world and planet, and most fundamentally, with our relationship to ourselves as a person. So think of mindfulness as the art of conscious living. It is a way to Turn off the automaticity with which we tend to live our lives. And maybe you're finding that to be true now more than ever because you are maybe resisting some of the fear brought on by uncertainty, or maybe you're just finding this Groundhog Day effect that everyone's referring to, that every day looks the same. So what happens if you consciously wake up? You consciously invite attention to the moment as you're living it so that you discover new things, new ways of doing and being, new smells, new behavioral patterns, new ways to speak to one another. What happens if you choose to live consciously in everything you do? Wash your hands consciously, do the laundry consciously. Everything becomes an experience that has your attention, and everything becomes filled with possibility. So allow that to settle with you as we begin to move into the body, very mindfully noticing the sensations as we invite them in, leaving that beautiful breath cadence that you cultivated to help set a little backbone, a little rhythm for the practice. So on your next inhale, we begin to float the arms up and overhead. Palms face one another. And as you exhale, turn the palms away from each other, bringing the arms back by your side. Inhale, lift the arms, palms connect, or at least face each other. Soften the shoulders. Exhale, let the arms drift back by your side. This time, inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Take your right hand to your head. Your left hand is going to press down toward the earth, palm down, so it can hover, and bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Continue to sit up nice and tall through the spine, and continue to press down through that left, the heel of the hand, lowering the left shoulder. Breathe into the space. Take one more big breath in. On the next inhale, reach both arms back up to the sky. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up, draw the arms past the ears. And as you exhale, press the palms forward, rounding the upper spine, tucking the navel in. Inhale, reach up, gaze up, open the heart. And exhale, press forward as you round the spine. This time, inhale, reach up, bring the arms behind the head, or bring the hands behind the head, and tuck your chin in towards your chest, putting just gentle pressure onto the head to give a nice stretch through the cervical spine. But feel the shoulder blades draw together in the back as you draw the chin toward your chest. Noticing each breath. Take one more big breath. Beautiful. Slowly start to bring the spine back into neutral. Inhale the arms up to the sky. This time, bring the left hand to the side of the head, drawing the left ear to the left shoulder. Right hand by your side. Palm, the wrist is flexed, pressing the palm down toward the earth. So draw the right shoulder away from the right ear. And draw the left ear toward the left shoulder. Notice what is in your awareness right now. Take a big breath in. Let a breath go. Inhale, both arms back up to the sky. Weave the fingers together in a different way. Just slide them over, maybe one or two fingers. Flip the palms up to the sky. Open the heart on the inhale. And as you exhale, take that seated cat pose, creating some space between the vertebra and the back body. Inhale, open up through the front body. And exhale, press the air away. One more big breath in. And full breath out. Beautiful. We're going to release the bind of the hands. Come over to a table position. Pardon me. Move any support you had under your sit bones off to the side. And from a table position, we're going to take that left hand and walk it over beyond the right edge of the mat and sink the weight into your left hip. Maybe you start to bend the right elbow a little bit. We're looking to offer lateral flexion into the spine as we open up the left side body. So keep the navel drawn up and in, support your back, and reach and stretch. One more big breath in. Full breath out. Nice. Keep the right palm rooted, stacking the shoulder over the wrist, and reach the left arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, thread the right or left arm underneath the right without releasing down. Just find your twist. Inhale, reach that left arm back up. Exhale, twist. So as we're twisting, we're looking to find mobility in the thoracic spine. So try to keep your glutes and thighs engaged to keep the hips stable. And just let the rotation come from the middle spine. Last one. Breathe in, lift up. And as you twist, release the left shoulder down to the earth. Release the left temple down to the earth. And deeply twist, breathing into this shape here. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. Big breath in. Full breath out. Nice. Press back into the left palm. Reach the left arm up to the sky. And bring your left hand behind your head and just see if you can deepen the twist a little bit. So try not to let the hips shift. You're going to feel a big opening into your rib cage. One more breath. And release your hands down to the earth. Nice. Keep your left palm rooted underneath your left shoulder. Right arm is going to reach beyond the left edge of the mat. And sink the hips over to the right. Extending, opening up through the right side body. You can let the head hang heavy. No need to hold it up here. Breathing mindfully, aware of the breath. Beautiful. One more big breath. And then return with that left shoulder stacked over the left wrist. Reach the right arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, follow the thumb with your gaze as you reach the right arm underneath the left. So we're trying to bring in some meditative qualities into our mindful flow today. And welcoming a steady gaze is one way to hone your concentration, to help bring some mental clarity. You may notice that it helps later in your day with any challenging mental tasks that you're trying to engage in. Take one more big breath, open up. And as you exhale, thread the needle, release down onto your right shoulder and your right temple. Press into your left palm. Keep the hips stable right over the knees. They may have a tendency to shift to one side or the other. Keep drawing the navel up and in, engaging into the lower abs. One more breath. Nice. Press down into that left palm. Right arm extends up to the sky. And then bend the right elbow, bringing the hand behind the head again. See if you can continue to open up. I just found my hips really shifted over to the right there. So draw them back into center. This is a challenging thoracic twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your child's pose. Notice the shoulders here. Do you feel your shoulders hunched up towards your ears because you're reaching the arms? Can you reach the fingertips forward while drawing your shoulder blades down and back? Get that really juicy stretch into the shoulders. Hollow out through the armpits. Child's pose welcomes you anytime in the practice when you need to reset your breath. You need to feel grounded in the present moment. Take a big breath in. Let a breath go. Beautiful. From here, we're going to come into table position. Extend the right leg behind you. And as you exhale, step the right foot between the hands. We're going to sweep up, interlace fingers, and press them right into your thighs so we can look for some space in our lunge. If you would like to support the left knee by putting a little padding under there, it's a great time to put a blanket or a towel or something to add more softness. Take a big breath in. Let a big breath go. And each time you work into the hips, opening up some space by moving and breathing, maybe you can walk the right foot just gently away from you so that your knee is stacking over the ankle. Keep the hips level with the earth. Soften the shoulders. One more big breath. And then from here, we're going to inhale, lift the arms up, and reach the right arm down inside of the right foot. If you have a block, you're welcome to put the block inside of the instep of the right foot. And so your right elbow is pressing against your right knee, left arm lifts. So again, we're twisting through the thoracic spine, trying to keep the hip points pointed down. So we're going to flow a little bit here. As you inhale, you're going to reach up, up, up. And as you exhale, we're going to bring that right arm up like we're reversing our warrior, and the left hand will rest on the left hamstring. So inhale, cartwheel the right hand down, lift the left arm up. Exhale into that reverse shape. Do that twice more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Stay right here in your reverse, and then lift the left arm up to meet the right arm. Take a big breath in. Interlace fingers, cradle your head once again, open up through your heart. And as you exhale, we're going to shift back into a half split and bringing the elbows to tuck toward one another. I'm going to move the block out of the way. So as you inhale, open back up into your low lunge, spread through the elbows, lift the heart. And as you exhale, round the spine, hips back to your heel, rock onto your right heel for your half split. A lot of cueing there. Hopefully you're finding a nice rhythm here. Big inhale. Full exhale. So we're rounding the spine as we melt down rather than keeping the spine long and flat. Nice. On the next inhale, as you rise up, we're going to swivel that left heel behind us and come into a gate pose. Here we are. Take a big breath in. Just start to windmill the body from side to side. Move at the pace of your mindful breath. And then we arrive back into center, lift the arms up, and then interlace them behind the back, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Find some space through the collarbones, through the heart. Take one more breath. And begin to send your left hip back to your left heel and bow down, bringing the forehead toward the earth. Maybe the fists lift up and away from the back. You're pressing into the outer edge of the right foot, or you can come onto the right heel, whichever invites the sensation that feels best to you in your leg. This is a position of humility here. So we're bowing down, feeling grateful for our bodies, for our breath. Feeling grateful for this moment. Take another breath. See if you can maintain the bind. Use the strong core and legs to lift back up. Nice. Reach up. We're going to swivel back to find a low lunge here. And then plant your hands to frame your front foot. And if you'd like to give a really deep stretch into that left side hip flexor, with the toes untucked, on the top of the foot, lift the left knee. If that is too much for you, please drop the knee. We always want your practice to be safe in your body, so really, truly listen. Take a big breath in. Keep squeezing into the glute and the hamstring. And then release the left knee down. Bring the right knee to meet the left. Come into your child's pose. Take a big breath in. Let the breath go. Noticing your presence in this moment. And sometimes we use our tethers within our own internal bodily sensations and our own breath. Sometimes we rely on external tethers. What can we learn from our five senses to help bring us to this moment? So know that, as Dan Siegel calls it, the wheel of awareness, there are so many different ways for you to arrive in the here and now, and you just have to find what speaks to you. Take one more big breath. Start to bring yourself back into your table position. Extend your left leg back with purpose, and then draw the left foot between the hands. Rise up into your low lunge. Interlace fingers, press down into your thigh, and just take some time with the breath, adjusting to this shape to open up the hips. Notice if you've created any tension in other parts of the body, so be aware of your jaw, your shoulders, your neck. And then once you've settled into your deepest expression of a lunge, again, you can bring a block into the inner arch of the left foot if you want, and root your left hand down to the earth, bringing your left elbow up against the left knee. So you're pressing the knee into the elbow, and we're going to peel the right arm up. So looking for length here. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, cartwheel back, reversing the lunge, lifting the left arm up and overhead. Inhale, cartwheel down, root down, lift up. And exhale as you reverse. So stay deep in the lunge and really feel this mobility coming from the spine. Inhale. Exhale. We'll do one more. Big breath in. Full breath out. Stay right here. And then lift the right arm back up to meet the left. Interlace fingers in a different way behind the head. Remember, we're trying to quiet this tendency to be automatic in our behavior, in our thinking, and just do things the same way every time. So do something that wakes you up, that catches your attention, that feels different. So as you sink the hips down, open up the heart, then exhale, send the right hip back to the heel, rock onto your left heel, bow down like a cat. Inhale, lift up, open up, tailbone sinks into the earth. Exhale, shift back, round the spine, elbows come to touch. Really breathe into the hamstring when we find that half split. Two more. Your breath guides you. Last one. You guys are awesome. It requires a lot of patience. Moving slowly, mindfully. So just notice what arises. Come back into center. Release the bind. Swivel your right heel behind you, coming into your gate pose. Feeling the spine lengthen, and just start to windmill the arms back and forth. Mindfulness is a practice. It's not at all about being passive and just letting the world go by. It's about as active as you can get, because your mind is always engaged with what you're doing as you're doing it. So it can be really exhausting, but it can also be very enlivening and very refreshing and just filled with joy, because your mind is right here. All right, take a big breath in, lift both arms, Interlace fingers behind the back. If you can't reach or you can't access it, you can take your opposite wrists or use a strap or a towel or something to hold the bind back there. Lift the heart. Soften the shoulders. And then melt the hips back to the heels. Bow down, bringing your forehead to the earth. Feel the nice stretch inside that left side hip. Take one more big breath. Nice. And then use your strength. Lift back up. Well done. We're going to release the bind. Come back into that low lunge. Release the hands down. Bring the left knee to meet the right. Back into your child's pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. So you can access your mindfulness practice any way you'd like throughout your day. It doesn't have to be one more thing. It can be simply awakening to what you're doing as you're doing it, because you're doing it anyway, but being present for it. Noticing how it feels in and outside of your body. Noticing the thoughts that arrive as you're doing it. Notice any joyful or pleasant or unpleasant sensations that arrive. On the next breath, we're going to come into table position and slowly start to make our way up to downward facing dog, where we are going to move a little bit from side to side, pedaling out the heels, bending into the knees. Wherever the body needs a stretch here is where you can travel to. Take 2 more breaths moving. And then look to the front of the mat. Start to walk or step your feet to hands. And then rise all the way up. Reach up. Get as tall as you can without hunching the shoulders. And exhale, bow down. Nice. Halfway lift. Big breath. And exhale, let it all go. Twice more. Inhale, root down, rise up. What a beautiful way to wake up the body. Exhale, let your heart guide you back into your fold. Halfway lift, hands to shins. And fold. Last one. Big breath and rise up. Exhale, breathe it out. Really purifying the body with these deep breaths. Halfway lift. And plant the hands. Step back into a high plank. From high plank, feel free to lower the knees, untuck the toes. Ooh, you know what? We forgot to do that hip stretch on the other side. I just realized. Real quickly, with your right toe untucked, step your left foot between your hands. These things come to me after the fact. If you'd like, you can lift the right knee. Keep the spine long. Stretch into that right side hip flexor. Squeeze into the glute. Take one more breath. Okay, release the knee. Now we're even. We're going to come back into downward facing dog. We are all perfectly imperfect. Take a big breath in. Let a breath go. Look to the front of the mat, step or hop. You can walk, take as many steps as you'd like. There's no rush. Rise up, reach up. Exhale, bow down. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant the hand, just step the left foot back. Come into the ball of the left foot. And we're going to sweep up into a high crescent lunge. And just same thing. Find a little movement in your lunge. Create some space through the hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. And we're going to take that flow again. So your right hand is going to come down inside of your right foot. And again, a great time to invite your block. Remember, your block has 3 heights. So choose the one that serves you best. So with your right hand rooted inside of the right foot, right elbow against the knee, we're going to first lift the left arm up to the sky. So notice when you do that, you may have a tendency to kind of open up like a warrior 2 leg. Try to keep that left hip down. Yes. Stay on the ball of your left foot, pressing the heel back. So that way we're not rotating open through the hips. We're rotating through the thoracic spine. We're doing a lot of thoracic mobility today because that is what's going to help encourage you in times of need to expand your breath. So lift up, take a big breath in, and then we're going to challenge your balance a little bit here. As you inhale, lift back up. Or I think we're exhaling to do this. Yeah. So inhale, reach the arm up, root down through the right. Exhale, lift and flip. So take your time, right? Shapes like this that are engaging to the musculature, engaging to your sense of balance and stability really require your presence. They require your attention. They require breath. So be here now, because this is where you are. Take your time. One more. You guys are awesome. Right here. And then lift that left arm back up to the sky. Interlace fingers behind the head. Open up. And as you exhale, straighten the front leg. Bow down at the hips. Round through the back. Just as we did on our knees. If you need to shorten the stance, go for it. So inhale. Deep lunge. Open the heart. Exhale. Round the back. Straighten the leg. Hover over your thigh. 2 more. You've got this. You're showing up for yourself. Your heart is open. Your mind is open. We're not judging. We're just being present for that abiding presence. Breathe and breathe. Right here, release your hands down and then walk around to the center of the mat, rotating the feet so they're now parallel to each other in a wide-legged forward fold. As you inhale, bring your back flat. And as you exhale, melt deeper. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale, fold. One more big breath in, nice flat back. Stay right here for a moment. Press the tailbone back, crown of the head forward. And then exhale, melt deep into your fold. And try something different with your hands. Try a bind. Maybe you bind from behind your ankles this time. Or maybe you interlace the hands. Or maybe you take a toe bind or just do something different. Do something that wakes you out of that automatic way of being. It excites you because it's new. We're getting a nice fresh rush of blood to the head here in this inversion, which wakes us up. It helps to clear out any cluttered thinking. Be present for yourself. One more big breath. Beautiful. From here, we're going to start to walk the hands back around. Find your low lunge, framing the right foot. Step back to your high plank with the knees up or down, chaturanga. Lower down. Inhale, press the earth away. Slide the shoulders from the ears. And exhale, melt back down. We'll do that once more because it just feels so good. Inhale, press into the earth. Peel the heart up. And from here, maybe floating through table, back to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Noticing each breath as it comes and each breath as it goes, honoring the benefits of both the inhale and the exhale. Mindfulness is not to be rushed. All right, so from here, we're going to take that left hand, root it down inside of the left foot. I'm going to use the block. Love the block. If you don't have a block, a really big, thick book will do. So bring your left elbow up against the left knee. Right arm reaches up. So find your twist here. Adjust the hips, rotate through the rib cage. Take another big breath in. And as you exhale, root into that left leg, flip the left palm up and overhead. right hand to the right hamstring. Inhale, cartwheel back down, reach up. Exhale to reverse. Keep the hips stable. Keep breathing into the parts of the body that maybe are burning right now. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. You guys are awesome. Big inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Start to rotate the hips back to the front if they were swiveled. We're going to interlace hands behind the head. Yet a different way. We're running out of ways, but just try to make it feel a little different. Take a big breath in, open the heart, sink the tailbone. And as you exhale, bow down over the front thigh, bringing the elbows to kiss. Inhale. Open up through your high crescent lunge. Exhale, bow down. Being present for what you're doing as you're doing it. Your body begs for your attention. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. Last one. Big breath in. Full breath out. Release your hands down to the earth right here. We're going to walk back into center. And this time, start to bend into your right knee. You know, I love a skandasana. So we were opening up our hips earlier just to prepare us for this. So you're welcome to stay here. If this is not accessible to you, feel free to stay high up in your forward fold and just gently bend the knees side to side as much as your body will allow. Otherwise, root down and see if you can lift up and bring your hands to your heart. This balancing moment begs for your presence. So be right here, right now. Breathe in. Breathe out. Perhaps without using your hands, see if you can shift the weight over to the left. Coming into your skandasana, left side. Spine is lifted. Right foot is flexed, shoulders soft. Breath is easy. In and out. One more breath. Beautiful. All right, now we release our hands, come back into center. Find a nice forward fold. And then walk the hands over to frame the left foot. Take a flow. Step back, high plank. Lower down chaturanga. Open the heart up. Back to downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. On the next breath, look to the front of the mat. See if you can hop your way to a seated position. How do we do that? So lots of ways to do it. You can bend the knees and just simply cross the ankles and sit. Maybe you shoot the legs through. There are lots of ways to do it. I've never quite mastered that beautiful float, but you know, we all have our strengths, right? Once you arrive here, bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall open. If this is challenging in your anatomy, you can take the blanket or the towel that you may have had earlier, place it over your ankles and tuck the edges underneath your calves. And that's a nice way to help support your hips without feeling like you're straining, because you want this to be challenging, but you don't want it to be painful, and you certainly don't want it to distract you from inviting the breath in and out. So we do tend to gravitate our attention toward the negative things, right? Because that's what gets our attention in the whole game of survival. But we want to try to soothe ourselves in those moments by just letting the attention rest back in the breath. So sit up nice and tall. Coming back to your abiding presence. Notice the cadence of breath. Notice the presence of strong feelings in the physical body. And then notice any emotions you're holding right now. As we are continuously trying to create space for what is, we just allow these emotions, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, we allow them to be there for a moment. So maybe say to yourself, joy is here, or fear is here. Whatever it is you're feeling, acknowledge its presence by saying that it is here. It doesn't mean it rules us or defines us. It's just present for a moment, and we notice it. And then we can make the conscious choice to release it, to free ourselves from that emotion if it's not one that we choose to hold. If the eyes were closed, start to flutter them open. We're going to take that left, this is my left, but you're right. I'm trying to mirror you here. Take your right shin and cradle it like a little baby. So bring your foot right into the crook of the elbow and just hold it, moving a little bit into that right side hip. You could sing it a lullaby. You definitely don't want me to start singing. That'll ruin your Zen. And then we're going to take that shin and stack it over the left shin. And again, if this is not working for you, you can take your feet back to the soles so they meet, or take your blanket or a block and slide it underneath that right side so that it tethers you, so you feel connected. Take a big breath in, lifting the arms up, open the heart, and exhale, hinge at the hips, reach forward and bow down, just melting into this hip stretch. Being present for what is. No shame, no storytelling, just noticing. Soften the jaw and the shoulders. Two more breaths. And slowly start to press back up. We're going to take a twist. So take your left hand onto the right knee. Sit up nice and tall. And as you exhale, twist. Where do you find the awareness settling right now? What is present? Take one more big breath. And release. Come back to center. Remove any props. Bring the feet back. And this time, just butterfly wing. Move into the hip joint a little bit. And then we'll take it on the other side. So when you're ready, feeling grounded, feeling present, start to hug that left side like a little baby. Keep the foot flexed so that your ankle doesn't get stressed here at all. And you don't even have to have the bind. You can have one hand on the edge of the foot, one hand on the knee. Whatever works for you this morning. And gently guide that left shin to stack over the right shin, using props as needed to support that left side. Notice what's present, right? What do you feel right here, right now? Take a big breath in, lift up, and exhale, hinge at the hips, bow down. Breathing into the spaces of the hips here. Keep letting time and gravity draw you deeper.
Let your conscious awareness really send the breath where it needs to be in the body to find some ease and softness. Two more breaths. And then make your way back up to a seated position. Take a big breath in. Right hand to your left knee. Twist over to your left. Remember to sit up tall on the inhale and twist on the exhale. Nice. Come back into center. One final shape before Shavasana. We're going to open those legs up nice and wide as we were preparing the hips for this. Feel the external spiraling of the hips. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, start to bow forward. So as you fold, your hips are going to want to start to spiral in. Keep spiraling them out. Maybe you even use your hands to press open, or you can take those hands and bind wherever it feels nice to bind. Maybe the toes, the ankles, maybe they're pressing down to the earth. Let yourself melt into this fold. This is very calming to the nervous system, quiets any emotional agitation, just gives us that space, that pause to be present for ourselves. Two more big breaths. Nice work. Slowly start to press up. Slide those legs together. Make your way onto your backs, taking any final movements or stretches before we settle into our final rest. I'm doing a little Supta Baddha Konasana flutter here. Soles of the feet together, knees are flapping. And when you're ready, start to stretch the body out nice and long. Create some space. Take a big breath in and let it go. Quiet the external gaze by closing the eyes. And let the gaze float right into the epicenter of your being as you rest in Shavasana. Start to come back to that mindful Shamatha breathing. Noticing the breath as it is, with your abiding, heartful presence. As I read to you another passage from John Kabat-Zinn. Mindfulness will not conflict with any beliefs or traditions, religious or for that matter, scientific. Nor is it trying to sell you anything, especially not a new belief system or ideology. It is simply a practical way to be more in touch with the fullness of your being through a systematic process of self-observation, self-inquiry, and mindful action. There is nothing cold or analytical or unfeeling about it. The overall tenor of mindfulness practice is gentle, appreciative, and nurturing. Another way to think of it would be heartfulness. So once our practice comes to an end, may you continue to be present in your life as you live it. May you continue to delight in the most simple acts by awakening your curiosity and your joy. And may you always be filled with heartfulness. Start to move the body, stretching, wiggling, breathing deeper, and make your way over to one side, settling in for just a pause, just a moment to feel the earth beneath you, the air around you. Slowly make your way up to a seated position, pressing the palms together in front of the heart. I want to thank the Energy Club once again for sponsoring this, and truly thank you for arriving, for being present, and for practicing with us. The love and the light in me honors the love and the light that shines so brightly in each of you. Namaste. So if you are a regular mindfulness practitioner, hopefully this sort of just affirmed your commitment to the practice. If this is new to you, know that I'm happy to help you share resources that have helped me along my mindful journey. Also, I'm available for private sessions if that's something that's interesting to you. Private one-on-one, private group. I do individuals, I do corporate, I do mindful parenting, I do mindful drinking and eating, and kind of along the whole spectrum of living mindfully. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. Eatyogadrink.com is my website. That's where you can find me. And I look forward to practicing with you again soon. So thank you. If you guys